Alright, so just watching a little Russia Today news on the TV while I'm, again, in my little break period at work for the next couple hours. It's working out because I can do some videos, actually. And I know you'll remember this if you follow me on the WebBot stuff. I'm trying to think how long ago this may have been. I'm going to say probably several months ago. WebBot report came out talking about there's going to be a very large bank that fails. It has something to do with Irish, whether it's an Irish street name in America tied to the bank somehow, or an Irish bank, literally an Irish bank over in Ireland. Wasn't sure, but that's what the data was presenting, and it's going to fail sometime in the near future. So as I'm watching the Max Keiser show on Russia Today, he's got a guest on talking about Anglo-Irish Bank, literally an Irish bank, and now they've got tapes that have been released to the public of heads of this bank basically committing fraud, committing lies, I mean, whatever you want to call it, on tape, audio tapes, they know who it is, basically holding a gun to the Irish government, so to speak, saying, we need this money or else, blah, blah, blah. Not a gun, but you know what I mean. And asking for an absorbent, incredible amount of money, and if we don't get the money, the economy's going to fail, you know, that same crap we heard in America. And one of the authorities, politicians, or regulatory bodies said, nah, this is illegal, you know, basically we can't do this. But of course, because the politicians are politicians and bankers are bankers, and usually bankers become politicians so that they can hook up their old banker pals and cover for them, they went ahead and did the plan. It turns out that Anglo-Irish Bank wasn't actually a bank in a little bit of history, a little bit of years and years and years ago. It was more or less like a hedge fund, gambling, casino, Wall Street, speculative entity that really speculated with derivatives on the housing market. And like America and the rest of the Western Ponzi scheme world, from about the year 2000 to 2006 or so, they saw over there property prices triple. Whereas in America, you may have seen some areas that may have tripled, but most of America property values, housing values, doubled. Same time frame. And for the same reasons, and the same fraud, and the same lies, and the same corruption, etc. But somebody over in Ireland got burned, a company got burned really, really, really bad by Anglo-Irish Bank because of this, and has filed a lawsuit. And as part of their lawsuit, they're saying it wasn't the guy that was head of this company, but probably someone extremely close to him who went ahead and released these tapes that they have public now. And these tapes are showing that this bank colluded with this government, the politicians and the regulatory agencies, to do something they basically all knew would be illegal, but trying to kind of skate around it by saying, let's make Anglo-Irish Bank, instead of like a hedge fund speculative financial entity, let's make it into a bank so that we can do the old too big to fail thing like America did. And we can kind of sort of pull that off, which really they couldn't, but they did anyways. So it became a bank, which reminds me of the same thing happening with, I think, Goldman Sachs. I think it was Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley. One of those guys in America wasn't exactly a bank, got emergency authority from the Federal Reserve to become a bank so it too could go to the TARP fund and other bank or bailout too big to fail fund to suck off of that trough of monies, because only a bank could do that. In this particular entity, which I think was Goldman Sachs, or it may have been Morgan Stanley, is one of these banks that are now banks but weren't a bank before. Now they have the title as bank so they could get the money. Same thing happened over in Ireland. And what I just heard on Max Keiser, just reading some more news here about this President Morales, how they forced him, my other video, they forced this president down to search his plane for Edward Snowden. It's back on here. They're furious. Spanish-speaking nations are absolutely furious, having an emergency meeting today. What are they going to do about this? How are they going to respond? You know, you name it. So I had to just stop for a second while this is on. because I was kind of curious to see how this goes. But anyways, Anglo-Irish Bank has been bailed out, I think, to the tune, or I don't know if it was bailed out or lost. I think they actually lost. In other words, in the red, what type of money did you lose this year or over a series of years? And it was like $43 billion. And whatever the number was, however it was tied in, was that is around almost 50%. Almost 50%. It was like 40-something percent of GDP for Ireland is to the tune of what this bank had received and I guess lost. And now that they're digging, they're saying, well, wait a minute, this wasn't even a bank with like consumers' money, customers' money. It's like, hey, Ireland, if you don't do the banker bailout, it's too big to fail, the whole economy's going to crash. No. The only investment that company had, this Anglo-Irish Bank, was strictly derivatives, bets on the mortgage industry. That was it. So it wasn't like your checking account when it got affected, FDIC insurance, which I know they don't call it that in Ireland, but the same thing happens over there. Had nothing to do with it. This was a bailout of speculative gamblers on mortgages, and housing in general. So now it has come out that that's what it was, and they got turned into a bank in order to get the bailout, which they still shouldn't have gotten. This particular entity that had investments into Anglo-Irish Bank, who just got screwed, is filing a lawsuit against the bank and against the government too. And also decided, let's go ahead and release this audio we have, where you can hear the heads of the banks talking to them. And now they didn't play it, but I've already said it's totally incriminating. Totally incriminating. And Max Kaiser gave an analogy of back when Hitler and all the higher-ups in Hitler, when they were tried and tried to use the defense that it's law. It was law. We didn't break the law. Because Hitler had all the laws changed prior to him doing the things he did so that he didn't break a single law doing the despicable things he did. Still didn't seem to work out for him. Seemed like everyone died over there and everyone under him. I was just following orders. I didn't break the law. Yeah, but part of your law was killing innocent people. You're getting the guillotine, etc. Except the smartest scientists. We want those guys over here in America. We want those guys to come over here in America because you guys were on your A game. We didn't have science and technology like you guys had, so we'll pardon you if you come over here and show us what you know. And we did do that, by the way. Werner Braun, I think was his name, or von Braun, head top-level guy working for NASA at the time when we brought him over. Unbelievable. But the point of this video is that WebBot report said that a bank's going to be failing in the near future, catastrophic failure, something to do with Irish, either Irish street names. It'll be a bank in America that's surrounded by like Irish theme, Irish street name, Irish area, something. Or, he said in the WebBot, or it'll literally be an Irish bank that fails of great stature in society. And that, my friends, could very well be Anglo-Irish Bank fixing to take a dump, because they said when this guy that's suing them, when they did the deal with him, they were already insolvent and bankrupt, so to speak, and they knew that. And you as an entity trying to sell shares or sell something to somebody, knowing this is completely illegal. But they did it anyways, knowing that they'd then go to the government to get bailed out, and etc. So that person has that knowledge, is filing the lawsuit, and I'm going to sit here and say that I think I might know an Irish bank that the WebBot said to look out for. I think I might know which one it is, and it's Anglo-Irish Bank if this happens, and it looks like it's going down. So I want to share that with you. This could potentially be, once again, another WebBot hit of spectacular proportions, assuming that this is the bank that actually fails. So we still have to wait to see. I'm not going to come out prematurely to say WebBot hit, but golly, does that not seem like this is fixing to be it? So this is news today, right now. So, man, oh man, interesting times. Take care.